The Junkers Ju-52, nicknamed Iron Annie, was the backbone of the Nazi Luftwaffe, a slow, corrugated metal beast designed to carry paratroopers into battle. But after the war, dozens of these planes ended up in South America, sold for scrap or left to rot in remote airfields. In the 1970s, as the cocaine trade exploded, smugglers realized this obsolete relic was actually the perfect illegal tool. Unlike modern jets that need paved runways, the Ju-52 was built with 1930s ruggedness. Its 3 engines and massive fixed landing gear allowed it to land on muddy riverbanks and carved-out jungle clearings that would destroy any other aircraft. It was the illegal tractor of the skies, a Nazi war machine reborn as the ultimate heavy lifter for the world's most dangerous cartels.
Flying a Cocaine Express Ju-52 was a suicide mission every time. To avoid international radar, smugglers flew nap of the earth, sometimes just 50 feet above the Amazon canopy. These planes operated as ghosts, no flight plans, no tail numbers, and no lights. They were painted in camouflage or dark, matte colors to vanish against the green abyss. Inside, the passenger seats were ripped out to make room for thousands of pounds of white gold. Because the Ju-52 was built of corrugated duralumin, essentially a giant tin can, it could take a beating from small arms fire and still keep flying. Cartels loved them because they were disposable. If an engine failed or the police closed in, the pilots would simply ditch the plane in a swamp, burn it, and vanish into the jungle.
The legend of the Cocaine Express did not end with a glorious retirement or a museum display. It ended in the humid, green silence of the Amazonian muck. By the early 1980s, the era of the low-flying junkers was coming to a violent close. The landscape of the drug war had shifted. What was once a lawless frontier was now being patrolled by the DEA and South American Air Forces using modern radar and high-speed interceptors. The air bridge denial program was in full swing. For a slow, lumbering beast like the Ju-52, the sky had become a trap. These planes, which had survived the anti-aircraft fire of World War II, were now being hunted by heat-seeking missiles and heavy machine guns. When a Ju-52 was intercepted, there was no outrunning the enemy. A plane designed to cruise at 110 miles per hour stood no chance against a jet or even a modern prop-driven interceptor. Pilots faced a grim choice: surrender and face a lifetime in a brutal foreign prison, or dive for the trees. Many chose the trees. They would attempt controlled crashes into swamps or shallow rivers, hoping the thick mud would cushion the impact just enough for them to scramble out of the corrugated cockpit and vanish into the tree line. The cartels considered these planes entirely disposable. A single successful run could pay for the aircraft 10 times over, so when a plane went down, it was simply abandoned. There was no recovery team, no salvage operation. The jungle was left to do what it does best: swallow the evidence. As the years turned into decades, these Iron Annies became modern archaeological mysteries. The Amazon is a graveyard of secrets, but few are as jarring as the sight of a 1930s German transport plane sitting in a clearing 1,000 miles from the nearest civilization. Explorers, gold prospectors, and indigenous tribes have stumbled upon these sites, finding planes that look like they fell out of a different century. Because the Ju-52 was constructed from duralumin, a specialized aluminum alloy, it doesn't rust like steel. Instead, it slowly oxidizes, turning a ghostly, chalky white. The corrugated skin, designed to give the plane strength in the air, now serves as a trellis for vines and a home for tropical insects. There is a specific kind of silence found at these crash sites. You can stand in the middle of a fuselage that once carried Nazi paratroopers and later millions of dollars in illicit cargo and hear nothing but the drip of rainwater and the call of macaws. In some wrecks, the cockpit instruments are still frozen in place, dials pointing to altitudes and airspeeds that the plane will never reach again. These are the final markers of a forbidden air force. They represent a time when the boundaries of law and geography were blurred by the sheer necessity of a rugged machine. The Cocaine Express was more than just a smuggling operation. It was a bizarre intersection of history. It was a moment where the industrial leftovers of a fallen empire fueled the rise of a new criminal one. The Junkers U-52 proved that a good design never truly dies. It just finds a darker purpose. Eventually, even the cartels moved on to faster, more discreet aircraft, Learjets and Cessnas that could blend in at international airports. The Iron Annie was too loud, too slow, and too recognizable for the modern era of high-tech surveillance. Today, most of these planes have been completely reclaimed by the Earth. A wing might be submerged in a seasonal lake. A radial engine might be buried under 5 feet of leaf litter. They serve as a warning to anyone who thinks they can outrun the law forever in the Amazon. The illegal Nazi transport ended its journey as a rusted skeleton in a green cathedral. It is a haunting reminder that in the world of illegal aviation, your greatest asset, your ability to fly where no one else can, is also what ensures that when you finally fall, no one will ever find you. The Cocaine Express remains a ghost story, whispered in the hangars of South America, about the corrugated metal monsters that once owned the jungle sky.